So, if you were here on Sunday or you weren't here on Sunday, we talked about moving from here to there. Here being a place where we are not satisfied with ourselves spiritually and emotionally and financially and physically and all of those needs. And there being the place where God wants us to be. And so, Sunday past, we looked at the familiar story in Numbers chapter 13 and Numbers chapter 14 of how God sent the spies into the land of Canaan to scope out the land. And so what was interesting about what we talked about was that when you begin to read it in chapter 13, you see that this group of spies that went into Canaan, they had a lot in common. They all had the same purpose for going into Canaan. If you look at verse 2, they were going to explore the land. They all had the same promise. They were exploring the land that God promised to them. And then on top of that, they had the same position. Like they were all leaders. Like God said to select leaders from among them. So they all had the same qualities, same calling on their life. And yet when they got to Canaan, they encountered a problem. They had the same problem. But what I found interesting, what we found interesting about that story is that although one group of spies went into Canaan, two kinds of people, after coming face to face with a problem, came out of Canaan. People who were can-do people and people who were can't-do people. Caleb, after seeing the problem, he embraced this idea that we can do what God asks us to do. And so he embraced a can-do attitude, while everybody else had a can't-do attitude. And so what we did to kind of wrap it all up, we identified that sometimes that the X factor of us not being successful in life or not moving from where we are to where we need to be has nothing to do with purpose and position and things like that. It has a lot to do with our attitudes, having the right attitudes, because God eventually ruled with the ones with the right attitude.